Welcome, everyone. Episode number 75 of Talkin Kentucky. My name is Coleman Scott. His name is Caden Holmes, and the Cats are set to take on the Kentucky State Thoroughbreds tonight in Rupp Arena as they commence their second and final exhibition game
Thoroughbreds,
here
huh?
before the season. Yeah, the Thoroughbreds. Did you not know that, Caden? That
I
they're
did
the
not know
Thoroughbreds?
that.
They
Man,
are. Well,
that's kind of intimidating.
I grew I would disagree with that, but I grew up like less than 5 minutes from the campus of Kentucky State University here in my hometown of Frankfort, Kentucky. So I'm pretty familiar with the Thoroughbreds,
Oh, it's
Caden.
almost like your alma mater, your
It is
childhood
not.
alma mater.
It's not even close to my alma mater.
You ever play trumpet there?
I have not played trumpet at Kentucky State. Actually, they do. I feel like they do have a good music program, though. The funny enough, I feel like historically Kentucky State music is really good. Never considered going there, but I feel like they do.
So how do they compare to? Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into all of this. I'm not gonna to rush the gun here.
Okay, were you going to compare? Were you going to compare them to Kentucky basketball or
Well, to
Kentucky
Georgetown.
music? Oh, to Georgetown. Okay. I don't know how they compare to Georgetown, honestly, but either way, I feel like will hopefully win, and hopefully we won't pull a Louisville, which is something that we're also going to get into here.
Clyde confirms are not scary at all. So Clyde always gets it right. So we'll trust Clyde on this one.
Yes, I absolutely do. That is the profile picture of Clyde there with the Cincinnati Bengal logo there. That's a little scary, honestly. That's a little intimidating. I feel like I would be scared if I were NFL.
Kentucky State, it's probably like a toy horse or something. Probably not very intimidating.
You think it's a toy horse?
Unlike that bingle there. Yeah.
Well, what if it's a real horse? Do you think that would be any more intimidating than a toy horse?
Well, they did not win our mascot bracket, so no.
Were toy horses in our mascot bracket? Do we have any kind of thoroughbred?
So. See, they didn't even make the cut for our bracket, so I think we're okay.
Well, I would argue, if they got in the tournament, they might be able to make a little run. So we know St. Peter's made a run to the Elite Eight, so you never know who's going to get in the tournament and make a run. Yeah, well, we're aware. So we can't even get 6 minutes into a show without mentioning St. Peter's or Shaden Sharp. So that streak continues to this day. But another streak that we're going to continue to this day, Caden, is our backgrounds. So our Kentucky background little streak that we got going on. So what's over there in your background, Caden?
First off, do you have any guess what this is? I'd be impressed if you knew what this is.
So that looks like a wall to me. And it looks like some kind of walk. Is that the Owensboro Riverwalk?
You're close. You're on the right side of the state. They go a little further west.
Is it Henderson, Paducah?
Oh, even further. Yeah, Paducah.
Okay. Is it a Paducah River walk?
It's the Paducah River walk. You got it.
I didn't know that there was a river to walk in Paducah, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there are. And there's actually 2 rivers. And this is a very interesting spot because these are paintings, these are murals along the river. And it's basically the story of the inception of Paducah. And don't ask me how Paducah came to be, but if you go to Paducah, I guess you can walk along here and look at these paintings and you'll know.
The inception of Paducah. I never thought I would hear that phrase, the inception of Paducah. Or I didn't know there were 2 rivers. I didn't know there was one river in Paducah, let alone that they had a river walk. So,
well, it's the convergence of the Tennessee and the Ohio River right on the other side of that wall. So, interesting fact about Paducah.
Well, both those states are not great. Ohio and Tennessee
are not alike.
They're also not.
One has a lot worse fans.
Yes, they do. That one's boring and one just has bad fans. So that's why you got to be in Kentucky. Kentucky River, though, Caden, it's not my top 10 rivers. The Kentucky River kind of, being from Frankfort and being around the Kentucky River and Kentucky State University, I think I'm allowed to say that the Kentucky River kind of.
Do you mean the Kentucky River or the Ohio River?
No, the Kentucky River.
Kentucky River, okay.
Yeah, it's like
I'm not as familiar.
Well, it's not like it's brown. Like it's not a
like Galveston.
It like Galveston. Yeah, it's not a color that you want a river to be, really. And Clyde is in the comments describing the Kentucky River in a way that we won't read out loud. But that
he
is what it
misspelled
is.
it, so it's okay. It looks like
Yeah,
piss water.
Well, yeah, it's
PIST.
pissed water. It's just really pissed that we lost to Tennessee. The pissed water. Yeah. So
it pissed us off. PIST.
Yeah. Yes. The Kentucky River is pissed off. Talking pissed. Well, it's a good thing we're not on radio.
What's your background, Coleman?
Well, I'm glad
I know what it is, but
yeah, I'm glad you asked, Caden. So I don't talk about myself a lot on this show, but today was kind of a big day for me, because I passed, Caden, my doctoral oral exam this morning, and so I'm one step closer to becoming Dr. Scott. And it's been a long road. This is year 9 of college for me. So I'm ready to be out of school. And this building behind me here is where it all started. This is the University of Kentucky Fine Arts building back here. And, Caden, both of us have a lot of fond memories in this building. Well, some not so fond, but we do have a lot of fond memories back there. And this is the old, this is actually the front entrance to the building that I feel like nobody actually ever went in. We always went in that side door by Singletary, right?
I spent a lot of time right in the entrance of that door, right behind your head. I spent a lot of practice time in there late at night. So it was the Julian Kaplan practice room.
It's the Gignal lobby. How do you say that? I still don't know how to say that word.
Gignal?
Gignal?
Guignol, I think.
The Gignal lobby.
Gignal? Yeah, I think so.
Hey, I made my recording for the Rafael Mendez Brass Institute in there, and I got the top scholarship, or however much scholarship money you can get. That's the best sounding room in that whole building, and it's not even a room at all. It's like a hallway. But I mean, it doesn't matter if it sounds good, Caden. That's really all that matters.
It is all that matters. Like, don't think about it past that.
But
that's what you learn in your all your degrees, right?
That's right.
How you pass today? Just don't
overthink. Just don't think about it. Yep, that's all I said. When they asked me to talk about the 12-tone rose and the Webern string quartet, I just said, well, just stop thinking about it. You don't need to
come on, man.
About it. Come on, man. Just like Joe Biden. Come on, man. Don't think about it. But
play trumpet. Sound good? Come on, man.
Yeah, come on, man. Just play. Hey, just play trumpet. Anyway. Well, anyway, I guess that's a good segue for us to. Well, speaking of Owensboro, Kate, I know you're in Paducah over there, but I know you're not actually in Owensboro. But apparently, Joe Biden's sister-in-law is from Owensboro or something like that. So
yeah, that's news to me.
You think we can get him on the show? You think we can get Biden on the show?
Sounds like enough reason to me.
Yeah.
What are we going to ask him?
Do you think Clyde would watch the show if Joe Biden were on the show? I feel like Clyde is probably not.
I think he'd call in, and it would be a dangerous call.
I think it would be a dangerous call. Yes, I think he would be. I don't think. I'm not sure if our regular fan base would watch if we had Joe Biden on the show, but that's okay. Yeah. Well, Clyde says, please don't. Well, Clyde, I don't think you're in any danger of seeing a Talkin Kentucky episode with Joe Biden on it. Mostly because he's the president of the United States, and I don't really think that we could swing that to get him on. But maybe. I mean, I feel like there's
KSR listens to us, so maybe Joe Biden does too.
You think he does? You think he's in the Oval Office listening to Talkin Kentucky? If so, I kind of
chief of staff think like, hey, you want to know what Talkin Kentucky said about you this week?
That's I feel like that would be concerning if he were listening to Talkin Kentucky, because I feel like there's more important things going on in the world, but maybe not. Well, as we said, we play Kentucky State tonight, Caden. It's our second exhibition game, and we still have no idea when Aaron Bradshaw is going to come back. I'm going to guess that it's not going to be tonight. I'm also going to guess that Big Z isn't going to play tonight because I don't even think he's eligible still. But man, these games, I feel like we just can't learn a lot from them because like we don't have our whole team yet. And like it's Kentucky State. I mean, it's not like we're playing Kansas. I mean, we go from playing Kentucky State, Georgetown College, and like New Mexico State to playing Kansas in like Madison Square Garden or Chicago or somewhere, right? So that's always a big, sort of culture shock for the team. And I don't even think we're going to have our big guys by Kansas, Caden. So I don't know. It's just hard for me to get excited about these games because like this isn't really the team that we're going to ultimately see this year.
Yeah, if I had to guess, Wagner and Reeves are going to be starting, and then Shepard and Dillingham probably going to be coming off the bench again. And Dillingham will probably go for another 30 or 40. You know how it goes. But like you said, we won't know much about the team. But I'd say I think it's wishful thinking that we'll have Bradshaw by Kansas. I think that Bradshaw is probably going to be the first big man that we have back. I just don't know if it's going to be within the next 2 weeks or within the next 2 months. I would probably go for the latter just because I don't have much confidence in him coming back anytime soon, but we can hope for Kansas.
The Kansas game, like, I'm a little concerned about the Kansas game. And by a little, I mean a lot. Caden, if we don't have any big guys, Kansas is going to wipe the floor with us.
Yeah. Like, even though they just lost to, Illinois? In some exhibition. Did you see that?
They did. Now they did lose to Illinois. Now that was funny because I think Hunter Dickinson was like talking a bunch of trash saying we want everybody to know we're number one because we want everybody to know how much better we are than everybody else. And then they go out and lose their first game to Illinois, even though it was an exhibition.
Yeah. It's still it's considered a ghost loss in my mind.
It's still, yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Just this Kansas stuff, man. Like, it scares me, and I feel like most of the fan base is sort of like become okay with losing in the Champions Classic. Well, it's just the Champions Classic. It's just Kansas. We'll just wait till March. But Caden, like, I want to beat Kansas. Like, people are like, it's okay if we lose to the number one team in the country. No, it's not. We're Kentucky. We are the number one team in the country. We should be beating these guys, right? I mean, we should be beating these teams.
Yeah, without question. I don't care if it's Kansas. I don't care if it's, especially if it's someone like Puke, or put Kansas in that category. These are the teams we should be beating, the games we should be getting up for, like that's what it's about, beating the Blue Bloods.
And like, Miami, I've heard people saying like, well, Miami's good if they beat us in Rupp. It's like, whatever. No, like, Caden, do you feel like the fan base is becoming
this?
Well, Drew Franklin said that on KSR. Drew Franklin said he is not expecting to beat Miami. He said that today on the show.
I mean,
I was listening to it.
This, if we don't have any big men, I don't either. If we don't have any big men, it's going to be an ugly season.
Well, I agree with that, but like that's the problem. Like, we've got to have at least one center on the team that can play. Like, Adu Fierro's playing center right now. it's not good. Like he should be playing the 3, right? So I don't know. It's just I don't know how to. I'm just continually sort of discouraged, Caden. Maybe we'll go out and blow Kentucky State out even with no bigs tonight. But like I want to see the whole team. I want the whole team to be playing the whole season. I feel that's just not too much to ask,
How much in your mind? How much do we have to win by tonight for you to be like, all right, that's a decent win against a exhibition Kentucky State team?
Well, I go back to this.
Is the over under? I'll put the over under at 50. Over or under?
Well, I think that's good. I think that's a good over under. I'm getting taken under on that, by the way. But like sort of what what I keep going back to is we at one time beat Asbury by 103 points. That was the Monk and the Fox team. I know it was Asbury, but like Kentucky State is not like leaps and bounds better than Asbury. I feel like these exhibition games tell you a lot about the team. Let's go ahead and get into it. Louisville just lost to Kentucky Wesleyan. There are less than 1,000 people in the entire University of Kentucky Wesleyan.
Speaking of Owensboro, yeah.
And everybody's like, well, they're not going to win like if they lose to Kentucky Wesleyan, they're not going to win another game this year. I mean, we were only up by 1 over Georgetown College at halftime, and Louisville was tied with Kentucky Wesleyan at halftime. So
there's not much difference there.
There's not much. And if you barely win against Georgetown College, right? I know we kind of pulled away, but how is that not telling you, something about the quality of the team? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too. Maybe I'm being too much of a pessimist. But like, I feel like after the past few years that we've had, I just expect the worst, sort of.
Well, that game against Georgetown, it wasn't even about not having Aaron Bradshaw. Like, we should have won by 40, 50, even without a single center on the team, I think. It's just that there were a lot of issues on the offensive and defensive end and just effort, especially in that first half. It's not because we didn't have big men. I don't think that's not an excuse for what happened in that game.
Brad over here I assume this is Brad on College Sportscast, either Brad or John, says 23 points is not barely.
Yeah, but it felt like 5 points.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the bare minimum of beating these like small exhibition game teams. Like, yeah, it should be a give. We could play terribly and win by 23.
We should be up 20 within 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, that's
what's expected because it's Kentucky.
That's what I expect. Yeah, we is Kentucky. Just like who said that? Was that Emmanuel Quickly?
No, it was Marcus Teague.
Oh, right? It was Marcus Teague. Yeah, I knew it was somebody on the championship team, right? That said that.
Yeah.
We is Kentucky. So, hey, we got Billy Gross back in here from Southeast Oklahoma. Caden doesn't have his Go Pokes stuff on tonight, but he still did spend a period of time in Oklahoma. So, but enough being apathetic about Kentucky basketball. Let's talk about Louisville basketball, Caden. As we said, they lost to Kentucky Wesleyan. Kentucky Wesleyan is Division II, and they're picked to finish 8th, not in Division II, but they're picked to finish 8th in their conference in Division II. So, mathematically speaking, there are 7 teams in Kentucky Wesleyan's conference that would blow out Louisville. I mean, isn't that what that says? Honestly, I mean, I think it is.
I think that's a good kind of summary of that. I completely agree with it. So what does this mean for Kenny Payne?
Man, like, I know he's an alum.
Does he last to the end of the year?
Well, the short answer is no. How can you lose the game? I mean, what do you think their record has to be like for them to fire Kenny? Like, if they start 0 and whatever, or how many losses do you think it takes?
10.
Yeah, I think that, and I don't think it's crazy that like I only think that they're probably are they going to win more games they did last year? Are they going to win more than 4 games
at this rate? No.
I mean, if you look, how many teams on your schedule are worse than Kentucky Wesleyan? Not many, right? Not many. Maybe 1 or 2. College Sportscast says, do they even get to 10 wins on the season? No, I don't think so. I would And Josh Hart says 5 wins for Louisville here. I would, I'd probably put the over under at 4.5.
Didn't we say they needed to win at least 10 games? Didn't we have a show where we
Yeah,
talked about how
I
many
I think
that
we
ain't
did.
yeah, that ain't happening at this rate
No,
unless some
no, it's
crazy
not.
things happen. So, does this mean that I mean, what
I
is
mean,
there a
Kenny's
world where
gone.
if he is gone, is there a world where we hire him back?
Yeah, I think there is, and I wanted to talk about that. How funny would it be if, because there's a whole, like, theory, I think, among Louisville fans that Kenny is really just a spy for Kentucky, or, like, this is, like, all a conspiracy theory to sabotage Louisville, which, by the way,
They were already
we
sabotaged
we
10
don't need
years
to do
ago.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Louisville has already sabotaged itself on multiple
I mean
levels throughout the years. Like, we don't need to do
yeah, I
that.
mean, Coleman, you got flipped off in Rupp Arena, so
No, I did, by
that's
Rick
just icing on
Pitino.
the cake.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, that was one of the best Kentucky games I've ever been to. Like, Katina Powell was there behind the bench. I was, like, 4 rows behind Katina Powell. And Rick had a white suit on. Yep, and, we beat him, and yeah, Rick, yeah, flipped
There's
us
high
off
ceilings
on
in
the
Rupp
way out of
Arena.
the there are high ceilings. Yeah, and, yeah, Louisville's, yeah, they might have gone all the way to the ceiling already, this season by losing to Kentucky Wesleyan. But yeah, I if I'm gonna make you a prediction, um,
Tried to make sense to that in my mind. Yeah, you can go on.
yeah, you probably just shouldn't, um, try to make sense of it.
That's probably the
Uh,
problem.
you probably just should stop trying to make sense of that. But, I don't think Kenny makes it through the year. Like, how can you? I know he's an alum, but I don't think Kenny. So I think they fire him, and could he come back to Kentucky? Yeah. How crazy would that be if Kenny goes to Louisville, somehow leaves it in a worse place than it already was, which is pretty impressive to be. I would even consider that impressive because, I mean, think about what that program was when Kenny went in, right? I mean, we can't even talk about it on this show without becoming an explicit podcast, right? We can't even talk about
No,
some of the
I mean,
things that
just
were going
look
on
back on
in
that
that
interview with
program.
Matt Jones and Tina Powell.
I mean, to the ceiling.
Yeah, that sums it up. And I
I
just
mean,
can you how why would anyone take that job knowing all that?
well, because I mean,
I guess he
he
went there, right? He was alumni,
he
but
went there,
still,
but I mean, love him or hate him, Louisville is one of the top 10 best college basketball jobs and best college basketball programs in history. I mean, it is. Um, and the bigger question is, how does Louisville make that hire? Right? I know he's an alum, but Kenny's never been a head coach before, so he's stepping into a big job right away, and that clearly just did not work. But then for him to come back to Kentucky after that, can you imagine how mad Louisville fans would be?
would you
Like,
want to have him back?
yeah, I love Caden. I don't have a problem with Kenny Payne. I love Kenny
I don't
Payne.
have a problem with Kenny Payne either.
So I would,
He's a big man coach, right?
yeah, and I think I attribute a lot of our recruiting success to Kenny Payne. I
Those
think he
players
was like,
always talked about Kenny Payne, remember?
I think he's
Yeah,
the
every
Vince
interview.
Marrow. I think he's the Vince Marrow of Kentucky basketball,
He
and
is.
I think that he plays that role really well, being an assistant, and sort of being a recruiter on a staff like Cal's, and I think that Cal needs somebody like that. So I think having him back would be fantastic. But that brings me to this, Caden. Do you think, and this, I know this is going to sound like I'm trying to troll or something, but do you think you could win 4 games at Louisville
As the coach?
as the head coach? Because I think I might. I mean, if I hire the right staff and just get some players in there, like, I can win 4 games, right? I mean, it can't
Yeah,
be that hard.
the thing is, I feel like at this point you'd have to pull a Deion Sanders there. Like you have to wipe the whole floor, like get everyone gone and build a
Yeah.
new culture and say
Yeah,
we
wipe the
coming.
ceilings too. Yeah.
You gotta wipe everything. You gotta
Yeah.
bleach it all.
Yep.
uh
Yeah.
yeah, that's what you'd have to do because I have a feeling that that locker room there right now, I mean, it's gotta be bad. Can you imagine
And it
dealing with all that?
the
It's
season hadn't
probably
even.
administration, it's probably players, it's probably everywhere. So you'd have to go there and just like clean house and
Yep, but
start all over new. And yes, once that happens, I think I could win more than 4 games.
uh, Brad Harvey says, I definitely could win 4 games guaranteed. Ca Can we set this up? Can we have Brad be the next coach at Louisville and see if he can win more than 4 games? I mean, that's the other. Where do you even go from here if you're Louisville? You already hired an inexperienced alum that somehow he's gonna win less than double-digit games in 2 seasons, which is just unbelievable, including exhibition games. Um, I mean, who do you even hire next?
Someone that immediately came to my mind, I can just picture him there, is Penny Hardaway. Can't you see Penny Hardaway at Louisville?
Yeah, but the thing is, who would want to inherit that mess? I could definitely
Mm.
see Penny Hardaway at Louisville. He
For the
strikes
right
me as.
price, I'm sure there's a lot of people.
But the thing is, from an NIL standpoint, I feel like Penny has got it much better at Memphis because they got that FedEx deal or whatever going on down there, and that's how he's able to get all these recruits in there. But Penny
Got a
can't win
FedEx
either.
deal.
Yeah, there's some kind of FedEx gives a bunch of money. You basically say if you want to come to Memphis, FedEx basically said, "Well, I'll just give you $1 million." And that's how they're able to get all these guys in there. But Penny can't even win games at Memphis with all this NIL money. It
Well,
seems
he
like.
gets one of those guys, and they end up getting suspended, and then he doesn't make the
Yeah.
tournament or something. Like what's his name? That day, Wiseman, Wiseman. Isn't that what happened with him?
Cody Keebler says, I don't know how much more they can clean house. Hell, they fired every administrator at that school before Kenny got there. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that's what's almost a little
So is it
depressing.
coaching then? Is this on Kenny Payne?
I think it's a curse. I mean, I think it's even like it's almost depressed. Like I almost am at the point that I feel bad for Louisville. Like I don't really hate. I mean, I hate Louisville, but like I don't really hate them as much anymore because like it's so they have cleaned house multiple times. Like gotten a new freaking president, new athletic director, new football coach, new basketball coach, new everything, new facilities. Um, and then they still they still have problems.
Are they good
It's
at
insane.
anything?
Well, I mean, they're pretty good at foot. I hate to admit it, but they're pretty good at
Oh,
football
this
this
year,
year.
yeah.
I think Jeff Brom is to Louisville football what people thought Kenny Payne was going to be. You get this alum in there that really cares about the program that can
I thought
really
he'd be successful
turn
too.
things around. I thought he would too. I thought the thing is, I thought he would be way more successful at Louisville with recruiting Kenny than he has been. And he hasn't really gotten anybody. I mean, that's sort of Kenny's bread and butter, like we talked about being the Vince Marrow of UK basketball, of getting these guys to come. I mean, look at a guy like Anthony Davis. Probably a big reason Anthony Davis came to UK is because Kenny Payne, I would
Yeah,
say.
he
I mean,
likes
people
Kenny Payne. He doesn't have a
yeah,
problem with Kenny
he doesn't
Payne.
have he doesn't have a problem with Kenny Payne, but these big guys that we got in, Carl Towns, you know, Boogie Cousins, getting these guys in there. So um, Cody says it's all on Kenny. He had a brand new staff and roster. Yeah, I just but that's what I'm saying is like, how can you? I almost feel like you would have to try to 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 lose that many games because you have like they played Chaminade last year, which I think they beat, but They lost to Bellarmine, who, by the way, they play again this year. Can you imagine Louisville losing to Bellarmine 2 years in a row? Like, small school around the
Bellarmine was
corner,
pretty
right?
decent, though. Bellarmine's a lot better than
Yeah, but it's
Kentucky
it's
Wesleyan.
well, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna lose to Bellarmine again.
Yep.
So it's just insane, and I'm here for it. I kind of love it, but and then they play us, of course, this year. So, do we play here or there? Do we play at UK or in Louisville this year?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember. See, so, does anybody know? You can throw a comment, or Caden, you can look it up or something. But it doesn't really matter. I'm
At
just
Louisville. It's at Louisville.
okay. Well, I mean, clearly does not matter because Kentucky Wesleyan just won there. But Caden, I think we have to talk about the passing of Bobby Knight, legend. I'm sure. I don't even think I've talked to you about that yet. Or have you? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Man, it's like he is like a guy. I've never known somebody to be like so loved and so hated at the same time. Like he's a dude that like part of his like he did such terrible things, but like people loved him for it. Like
he's passionate. To say the least, he's passionate.
You know, in Kentucky for this period of time, Kentucky fans just could not stand Bob Knight. Just just hated him.
He hated Cal.
He definitely hated big time hated Cal. And but at the same time, I feel like there's this affinity. I mean, I had people sending me, memories of Bob Knight and like pictures of Bob Knight on our page saying just rest in peace and things like this, that that they love Bob Knight. And like everybody just sort of loves him, for who he was, the throwing the chair. Caden, what were some of your favorite Bob Knight moments?
All-time favorite is his halftime speech talking about how much he hates Purdue.
I'm sick and tired of losing to Purdue.
Yeah, sick and tired of losing to.
I'm sick and tired of losing to Purdue.
Purdue, yeah. Yeah, and then
what
the chair
else?
throw, and then we have a clip of him in one of our brackets. He was like real calm, and he just started going off.
Yep, he said, of course I'm not gonna say it, but he said something like
turn a new leaf.
Yeah, turn a new. Yep, did turn a new leaf. But he said something. He was just talking all calmly. He's like, "Yeah, I'm just really disappointed." Kind of effort that we're the bleeping effort we're putting out of here. He's like, "Damn it!" He just like throws a chair. He's like, "You can take this show and shove it up."
Yeah. I said something like, you just tell Bobby Knight is genuinely mad, and Cody was like, "Because he is."
Yes,
like one of my favorite moments on our show.
Yeah, I think that was episode like number 2 or so. Here we are in episode number 75. I think that was like episode number 2. Yeah, that was a good one. But there was one. He just comes out to the press conference and he said, what I'd like to do is call this a real Mickey Mouse operation, but that would be an insult to Mickey Mouse. And then there's another time he said, I don't really consider myself a biblical scholar. Just there was a one time like he was sitting with one of his he's a coach at UCLA for a long time, but it was one of his former players. And he just like he's on like Sports Center, and like they end up just bleeping basically the like one long bleep the entire clip, because literally everything he said was like a curse word. It really, but oh yeah, that's I really. Brad says bench meets ass. That was another big.
That was a good one.
I want to see if I can find that clip. But before the show's over. Yeah, that might be my favorite Bobby Knight clip. The biggest motivator is the bench or something like that. That was there was one that he got the whip. He brought the whip out and he said, this is there's a little bit of blood on this or something.
Hey, his players respected him though. Like you
that
see
they
interviews
did.
with like those old IU guys.
Yeah,
they loved him.
They did. I want to see Caden. See if you can. Caden's got the high tech really set up over there. I've got my laptop and I've got my ring light sitting on top of a trumpet pedagogy David Hickman book over here, and Caden's got like 4 monitors and a
what do we
fan
say?
and a
The
bunch of stuff.
pedagogy book is what's keeping the show together.
It really is. Yeah, I knew it'd be good for something.
So, Bob Knight on motivation.
That might be it. Yeah, I want to see if we can pull that up here, so because that was a great clip of him.
All right, let me screen share.
See if we can get this going here. There was one he was talking about biggest motivator, and it was a whip. And there's another one he's like bench meets ass, ass meets bench. It's really I think this might be it.
Motivational speeches and phrases and devices in the world, but the greatest motivator of all is your ass on the bench. There is no better motivator. Ass meets bench. Bench retains ass.
Retains, yeah.
Ass transmits signal to brain. Brain transmits signal to body. Body gets ass off bench and plays better. I mean, it's a hell of a sequence of things that takes place.
Yep.
Well, it might be for you guys. You can talk.
That was
dude, he's like
another.
He's like a scientist over there. Transmit signal to the brain.
I think my favorite is ass retains bench, or whatever he said. Yeah, that's a good one. Bench meets ass, ass retains bench. Transmitted to brain, body plays better. I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, I feel like he's not wrong. So, well, we've had a lot of Kentucky players.
Some players just stay on the bench.
Yeah, we've had a lot of Kentucky players that bench just met the ass before. Yeah. So
they should be real good.
Yeah, I mean, in with that theory, they should be, but I don't think they are. So this game's at 6 Central, right?
Right.
So we'll want to hop off. I mean, Cade, we wouldn't want to miss, the Kentucky. I mean, that's going to be a barn burner. I mean, that's the game of the century. I mean, we don't want to miss any of that. So, and we don't want our audience to miss any of it either. But we'll see if we can take a couple quick calls. And tell us your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on, well, maybe not your thoughts on Bob Knight, but your thoughts on Louisville. And yeah, we'll go from there. So 502-234-1504. Sorry, I just assumed everybody knows our number now because we're better than KSR according to Josh. So
some will say that.
But yeah, give us a quick shout. Give us maybe a final score. Oh yeah, we do play Mississippi State in football this weekend. I almost forgot to mention. Speaking of apathetic, apathetic about Kentucky football.
Are we winning that game?
Well, I mean, the thing is, Mississippi State's really bad. I don't think we're bad. But Kane, we haven't won in Starkville in 20 years. So like that concerns me. That we got that streak going.
What now? 3 straight?
Yeah, and it's hard to get yourself off the mat and go win down there.
Ain't good.
But I mean, maybe. I certainly hope so. But it's like it's just frustrating. Because Starkville seems to be, speaking of the curse of Louisville basketball, I think there's a curse on Kentucky football in Starkville because it's just like every time we go there, we forget how to play football. Like even our best teams, when we had, Will Levis, when we won the Citrus Bowl. Like we just he threw like 4 interceptions. Yeah, it's like that was one of our 3 losses. It's like it just doesn't add up. You know, it doesn't make sense.
Call coming.
But all right, let's take it.
You're on with Talkin Kentucky. Who's this?
It's Clyde. How y'all doing?
What's up, Clyde?
How's it going?
Good, real good, real good. How y'all doing?
Oh, real good.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that.
So you ready for this game against Kentucky State?
Oh yeah, yes sir. I'm ready. I think Brad was telling me the other day, Mr. Harvey, he was telling me that Kentucky State is not that good, and they're not as near on the same level as Georgetown is. So I say we'll probably win this game by 30 or 40 points. I mean, I'm with you, Katie. Like, we should probably be up by 25 or 6 minutes into the game. We should probably be up by like 18, 20 points, something like that. I see that happening.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So I like how you said they're not on the same level with Georgetown. Like Georgetown's some kind of powerhouse. I don't know. I just thought it was funny, but maybe they are in NAI. I don't know, but it's just kind of they're not even close to Georgetown.
Yeah, acting like Georgetown's gonna go beat Kansas or something.
Yeah, well, they definitely beat Louisville. Yeah.
They would demolish Louisville.
Yeah.
Georgetown's one of the best NIA teams out there. I mean, they make the Final Four pretty much.
Yeah, but isn't that saying they're like the best Division III team out there? Like,
yeah,
I see what you're saying, but we should have beat them more than 20.
We're one of the best podcasts out there.
Well, we were ranked, Coleman, in podcasts.
Yeah, we actually are
more
ranked
than
in podcasts.
Georgetown.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that, Clyde?
Yeah.
No, you're good. You guys are fine. No, I would say for football, even though I ain't even been asked about football yet, but this Saturday, I actually feel pretty good about this game. I've looked at Mississippi State's SEC record. It's not that great. They've only beat Arkansas, and the final score of that game was 7-3, which I think you guys knew about that because I think I remember Coleman saying something about it one night after a Kentucky game. I think I remember, and I know we have to go down there. We ain't won down there since 2008, Rich Brooks. But
man, 2008.
Is that right? Rich Brooks was the coach the last time we won at Mississippi State?
Yes.
Man.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Dude, I was like, what was I doing in 2008?
I was in
what were you doing
middle. I was like in 8th grade.
Yeah, I was like eating Doritos.
Oh, Doritos.
Yeah.
Hey, that.
Cool Ranch.
I think we all still eat Doritos now, don't we?
I do eat Doritos frequently now. Yes, but not like I did back then. Back then, I was eating Doritos and I wasn't almost a doctor. But today, I'm eating Doritos and I simultaneously. Well, yeah, there you go, Dr. Pepper. That was the difference there. So. Yeah,
I like Coke with mine or Pepsi with my Doritos, but Dr. Pepper, I'll let it slide too. I love Dr. Pepper. As a matter of fact, I got a whole 2-liter in my cabinet over here. So,
we need a drink bracket, Coleman.
Yeah, we do need a drink bracket. Yeah, of both the alcoholic and non-alcoholic variety. We
could have a field of 64 with that one.
You know what?
Oh, we could.
I got an idea for you guys. Do it next week.
Do what next week? The drink bracket?
Yes, do it.
Okay.
Yes, I think Josh Hart's more of a Pepsi guy than I am, but he knows I like Pepsi too. I'm more of a Coke guy than he is. To me, I think Josh Hart's more like a Pepsi guy, to be honest.
I just never think, oh, I want a Pepsi. Like it's not bad, but I don't wake up and just have that thought, Coleman. I just want to drink a Pepsi today.
If you give it to me, like, I'm not going to turn it away. Like, if you give me a Pepsi, but like, I'm not just going to go seek out a Pepsi, like out in the wild, like I'm not just going to go try to get one.
Anyways, Clyde, do you have anything else for us before we let you go? We got this game in a few minutes.
Yeah, I was going to just give my final score for the football game real quick. I think we'll win 42-10. I like our
man.
I like Mississippi State's bad. Like they are terrible. And
yeah.
I feel pretty good. I think 42-10, about right there. We'll get our 6th win of the year and be bowl eligible. So, but anyway,
I mean, that would be good.
The game comes on in about 5 minutes, so I'm going to give somebody else a chance to call before the show ends. So, thank you as always.
Thanks, Clyde.
All right, man. Go Cats. Yeah, I don't know if we'll get another call or not. I'm sure everybody's getting ready for the game. But if you do want to call, 502-234-1504. Yeah, Caden, I feel like a win this weekend, that would really turn things around. So, because you'd be 6-3, you'd be bowl eligible, and you'd get some confidence. You got a big game coming home against Alabama. You know that you might be able to hit a little high here if you could do that. So,
yeah, I was thinking honestly we'd beat Tennessee and then lose at Starksville.
Yeah,
but I might turn that around. I might say we're going to win this week.
Well, we didn't beat Tennessee, so don't have much choice. But so we're gonna speaking of final score predictions, I'm not even gonna do one for. I mean, I can't. Like when we lose 3 in a row, okay. Now just speaking of drink brackets, we're gonna be doing a lot of brackets if we lose to Mississippi State, because I think football season's all but over then. What's your final score prediction for basketball tonight? You think we break 100 on them?
Probably not. No.
I think we do, because we almost did on Georgetown, and I feel like we had 90 something, right? So I feel like we can hit the 100 mark against Kentucky State. Thoroughbreds aren't that intimidating, so
I'm gonna say I don't think we hit 100, but I think we win by more than we won by last game. I'm gonna say 88-52.
88-50. Okay, I'm gonna go 103 to 67. 103 to 67. That will be my final score prediction. Watch, we're gonna like lose or something. Come on, me. Well, thank you guys very much for checking us out. As always, we appreciate it. We wanted to be sure we squeezed in here and got a episode in before the game. Caden, do you want to do we doing a little TK's take after this game? Possibly.
We can. If there's, it can be a game time decision, I guess.
Game time decision.
No pun intended.
Yeah, be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for a little TK's take post game video from us up on YouTube and our Facebook page. And speaking of that, subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook. We're also on Instagram and of course Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Be sure you like and subscribe and rate and star and yippity do all the things. And yes. Claude says, oh yes, do a TK's take. So we have to do one now. It's Claude.
Since Clyde said it.
Yeah, I think so.
He's also commanding us to do a drink bracket.
Well, he's like our general manager, basically. I do like how he said that he had an idea for us. You were like, let's do a drink bracket. And Claude said, yeah, I have an idea for y'all. You should do it next week. And it's like we came up with it. It's like the time he called in and said, what you got for me? It's kind of the same thing going on there.
Yeah. But, it's like the time you told me that what's his name was like Michael Jordan. And I said, yeah, he's like Michael Jordan. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, like that. So, well, Caden, you got anything to add before we take on Thoroughbreds?
No. I mean, please win against the Thoroughbreds.
Yes, please. That would be great.
At least 30, hopefully 50.
Yeah.
Really, hopefully more.
Hopefully 100. Yeah, hopefully. So do that. And Caden, what are we calling this episode? You do Talkin Louisville, Talkin Gignal. It's a good one too.
Talkin
I would have to learn how to spell Gignal. Talkin Paducah, Talkin Two Rivers.
What did we say in the beginning?
Gignal.
It was something about Paducah. What was it?
We said pissed.
P-I-S-T. That's what it was.
Well, Claude said pissed. Talking.
Oh, do we have a new commenter? Maya Bayoness? She said go. Well, I'm assuming she means go Cats.
Well, maybe she's
maybe it's a Cal quote.
Yeah, maybe it's a Cal supporter. It could be. You know, I'm convinced that that's not a real person, because when I get a friend request from somebody with that kind of profile picture, I'm usually goes in the delete.
Yeah, it's not as sketchy as Naveen,
file.
but it's close considering the picture.
Yeah. So yeah,
I got my hopes up for nothing. Thanks, Coleman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's possible she
Talking
could be
motivation. There we go.
Cal supporter.
It's a Bobby Knight tribute.
Talking bench meets. Yeah. Talking motivation. I like it. Let's.
Did we have a show name that one time?
I don't think so. I'm sure we're gonna. We
had Talking Passion. I think that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, we had Talking Passion. That's what we had. Yeah, with John Huang, when John Huang came on. So we didn't talk about Kyle Tucker's article. Well, that's okay. Everybody go read Kyle Tucker's article, and that'll be your little homework assignment for next week. Read Kyle Tucker's article, and we'll talk about it. I'm sure it maybe even John Huang might even ask Cal about it tonight. Who knows? Somebody probably will.
Hey, and Coleman, I had one thing I was going to say today. Just a random stat of the day. It was on one of the KSR articles. I thought it was interesting. Do you know Dan Issel holds a school scoring record for 83 games, which is 50, or not 50, way less than the next closest person. So that's insane. I just thought that was interesting. So that's your random stat of the
random fact of the day. That's your Corey Price stat of the day. I like it.
Literally 83 games, and he has a scoring record.
I feel like we could use that right now.
2 seasons, basically.
Yeah, I feel
2.5 seasons.
That would be a good thing to have right now. But no, I like the stat. We'll keep the Kentucky pictures going. We'll keep the random Kentucky stats of the day from Caden, Corey Price Holmes.
Keep it going.
And we'll keep it going. So we'll talk in motivation. Well, for Coleman Scott, for Caden Holmes, and for motivation, this has been Talkin Kentucky. And we'll see y'all next time. Go Cats, beat the Thoroughbreds.